Flying commercially and selling your work is the subject I still get asked most questions on. The rules have changed, but there's still a few things to know, and that is what I'm talking about today.
The world is my oyster.
Hello everyone, I'm Ian and I play with drones. And I also hold a CAA permission for commercial operations, which until recently was the only way that you could legally fly commercially in the UK. But at the end of 2020, all the rules changed, getting simpler in Europe and the UK, but a bit more complex over in the USA. For a start, what actually constitutes commercial work? Well, look, in the USA, the FAA is pretty clear. If you're flying with a view to profit or get compensation, then you're flying commercially, meaning you cannot make use of the exemption for recreational flyers and must instead fly under Part 107 rules and obtain a remote pilot certificate, which they only issue after completing a fairly chunky training course and exam. Their online guide makes it clear when you get to the "Are you flying for fun or recreation?" as that defines whether or not you go down the Part 107 route or the recreational exemption route. There's also been quite a bit of debate as to whether or not posting footage on YouTube constitutes commercial use in the USA, but in most quarters it's agreed that social media revenue does constitute flying for profit and therefore it's commercial. But in the UK, it's far simpler. With the UK and Europe now on streamlined EASA rules, the CAA have completely changed their stance on flying commercially. Now it's all about the type of drone you're flying and where you're flying, not whether or not you're being paid. However, there is still one additional requirement for commercial flights, and that's the CAA's rule that you have to have commercial insurance. Not the hobbyist cover that you can get from any flying club, but a policy that specifically covers you for commercial use and meets certain legal requirements. I'll put a little link to more information on that below. But because of that, you still have the question of when do I need commercial insurance? Well, until recently, the UK CAA website had a handy page outlining examples of commercial flying, making it clear it was primarily about whether you would still be flying if you weren't being paid. And that is the key point, as it allows you to legitimately sell or post pictures and video from recreational flights. The page even mentioned that social media revenue was not considered commercial, stating that websites or social media pages can legitimately be used to post recreational videos and material that was not commissioned by another party, but was conceived and funded by the person posting. Now, the CAA website is being updated for the new rules that came into force at the end of last year, and annoyingly that particular section has been swallowed up by more generic pages due to them treating commercial and recreational flights equally. But for me, it still gave a clear insight into how commercial is defined in the UK at least. If you're commissioned by a client or a company, then it's commercial. If somebody has asked you to fly, then it's commercial. But making money from selling media on sites like Pickfair or posting on YouTube is not commercial because there is no client involved and you were flying for yourself. So that's the definition. What about the rules, and do you actually need any certifications? Well, as said, in the US it's a fair bit more complicated, and I will post a link to the FAA site below on how to get your remote pilot certificate. At least in the UK and Europe, it is now far simpler to fly commercially. I've already done a video on the new rules, but basically they now focus on where you can fly, not why. You may well have heard of the A2 CFC, which is a certification allowing you to fly larger drones like the 2 Pro inside towns and congested areas. But you do not need the A2 CFC to fly commercially. That qualification is about where you can fly, not why. So if you do have a larger drone like the 2 Pro for instance, and you want to use that in towns and cities, then you would need the A2 CFC. And if you want to fly closer than 50 metres from uninvolved people, then you'll actually need to get the GVC, or the General Visual Line of Sight certification, and additional specific permission from the CAA if you're using a larger drone in towns and cities. So of course that is where smaller sub 250 gram models have the huge advantage, as under the new rules small models have the freedom to fly in towns and cities right over uninvolved people. So having a smaller drone like the Mini 2 is now the easiest way to fly commercially in towns and cities, whether or not it's taking pictures for estate agent house pictures or weddings or whatever, because as long as you're not near an airport or flying over a crowd, you're probably going to be good to fly for any reason, including flying for money or reward. So, to be clear, in the UK and Europe, the rules are solely about where you fly, not why. You no longer need the PIFCO, and you only need the A2 CFC if you're flying a larger model drone in a congested area. Either way, the only additional requirement is for commercial insurance if you're flying for a client. So look, I hope that's cleared things up for you, because it seems for once we've actually had a good improvement in the rules. Anyway, look, nice quick video this week. I'm still working on new videos for both the DJI FPV and also some more videos on getting the most out of your Mini 2, so you can watch out for those over the next week or 3. Either way, I hope you are making the most of the longer days and the better weather. Do me a quick favour, hit the little like button for me, help the video get recommended. But look, either way, whatever you're doing, wherever you are, until next time, stay safe and sane, have fun, happy flying.
Never stop. Shooting stars never stop. Shooting stars never stop. Even when they reach the top, there goes the supernova. What up for show?